Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending. Looks like we have a quorum, so I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:16. Thank you all for being here. I'm Victoria LaBrusa. I'm the CPC chair, and we're going to introduce you to everybody else by taking a roll. So we are going to go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. When I call your name, if you'll give us your name back and that you're here or not. All right, Mario Logan. Carmel Mountain Ranch. Carmel Valley.
Choice
Choice Valley, Cuba. Sage Gonzalez. City Heights.
Marcellus Anderson's here.
Thank you. Claremont. College area.
Robert Montana.
Del Mar Mesa. Downtown.
Gary here.
Eastern area. Greater Golden Hill.
David Suarez.
Kearney Mesa. Kensington Talmadge.
David Modi.
La Jolla. Linda Vista.
Christopher Beasley.
Midway. Mira Mesa. Mission Beach. Mission Valley.
Stephen Leonetti, Mission Valley, Chair.
Thank you. Navajo.
Kevin Sullivan.
Normal Heights.
Paul Hogan.
North Park. Old Town. Otay Mesa. Otay Mesa Nesta. Pacific Beach.
Here, Marcella.
Marcellus. Peninsula.
Andrew Hollingworth, alternate.
Thank you. Rancho Bernardo. Touchstone. Rancho Penasquitas. San Pasquale Hodges. San Ysidro. Scripps Ranch, Victoria LaBrusa. Serra Mesa. Skyline.
John Houston here.
Houston, thank you. Southeastern. Tierra Santa. Torrey Hills. Torrey Pines. University.
Darren Esposito, alternate.
Uptown.
Matt Driver. Ocean Beach.
Oh, I missed Ocean Beach. Oops, it fell off of mine. Ocean Beach? I don't think she's here. No, Ocean. Just updated this, you must have put on that tab. Yeah. Oh. Well, Lynn Edwards. Lynn, oh, they're waiting. Hold on. Isn't it all? Okay. Now we even have more. So let me get those folks that are coming in. Okay, those that are just came in from the waiting room. If you are representing your CPG, would you please raise your hand? Okay, Lynn, we'll start with Lynn. Lynn, if you'll unmute.
Yes. Here.
Okay, Lynn Edwards from Eastern
area. I'm just putting it in now.
Okay, and Kevin Bagley. Go ahead. Oh, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
I'm from Del Mar.
Del Mar Mesa.
Yeah, Del Mar Mesa.
There you are. Okay. Thank you. Lisa Friederman, if you'll unmute.
Yes, from La Jolla.
Thank you, Lisa. Southeastern, is that Jasmine? If you'll unmute.
Hi, yes, Jasmine from Southeastern. Thank you.
Thanks. Which one do I not have on here? That's right. That's actually. Well, we'll see. Okay. All right, Lisa Friederman, do you still have something else, or you can lower your hand if it was just.
Oh, sorry. No.
That's okay. I just want to make sure I covered everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. 22. Okay, thank you, everyone. All right. Thank you for that. Are there any modifications to the agenda? Not seeing any. We'll move on to non-agenda public comment. So if I have non-agenda public comment, this would be for any item that's not on the agenda. You'll have 2 minutes per time. You will be able to speak on just the item. This will not be discussion. There will be no action, but you can refer and ask for it to be placed on a future agenda. Otherwise, we'll go ahead. We're going to start in the room with David Warrens. Go ahead, David.
Two things. I learned
Warren.
today on the radio that zoning and discussions of community character are explicitly racist, and that was from Andrew Rowland's report on public radio. Some of us were unaware of that. I also received an inquiry from Mike Feinstein from Santa Monica, who's researching planning groups and requested rosters. I was wondering if other planning groups had received similar. There's no explanation other than researching. I provided the most recent one, of course, and said that I did. That's public information, but without private, contact information for policy or request from the city for Brown Act considerations. So I just send you something to see what that might be.
Thank you. Okay, we can go back and forth from Zoom to in-house. We'll start with Kathleen Lippett.
Good evening, CPC. Thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to address the situation with the 13 out of 28 public restrooms that have been closed, and in an effort supposedly to save nearly $500,000. And that was according to Todd Gloria. And the reason that the money is not available is because of increased staffing salaries. And it's puzzling why there are probably a lot of ways you could get these restrooms, 13 of them, cleaned for a lot less than over $500,000. But the basic problem with this is that it shows an absolute lack of it's a total ignorance on the part of the city leaders and especially the mayor, given that public urination and defecation most likely are public health problems. They are public health and safety problems. And he is one of those politicians who promised that would be one of his priorities was public safety. This is a basic need, and it's an essential need, and there is no reason for this to be done. And instead of the city council offering to give up their salaries for whatever it costs to have these restrooms remain open, they should remain open. From a public health perspective, it is just abhorrent that we have city leaders that would allow this to happen. And so anyway, that's all I wanted to say. And I think there was a conference yesterday that was held in front of one of the closed restrooms with a river of human urination. And I suppose this probably, and thank you to Councilmember Campillo for urging the mayor to keep those restrooms open.
Okay, Kathleen, thank you. Thank you. Your 2 minutes is passed. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna come back in person here and go with Sage, please.
Hi, my name is Sage Gonzalez Balding. I'm from Choice Valley Community Planning Group. I just wanted to give you all an update. If you didn't know that City Council denied our appeal for the radio tower call for the Emerald subdivision. So that was a vote of 8-1. Mr. Campillo again voted with our community, our own district. Council did not. If you were at the meeting council, it was odd, to say the least. But we as the community planning group and as a community are very proud of our presentation and our attempt to be an inclusive community by trying to create more parkland in a park efficient part of town. That was my. Oh, and thank you actually, Madam Chair, for being there and speaking up. We had a lot of different community groups offer presentations. Neighbors for Better San Diego was there. Livable San Diego did a presentation. Our past chair, Andrea True, did a presentation. Who else? It was well, I certainly felt very supported, so thank you.
All right, thank you, Sage. All right, back to online, Marcella. Go ahead
Yeah,
and unmute.
I have a quick one.
And
Scott
speak
Peters is
loudly
gonna-
because of the speaker's not working like
Oh,
we want to.
Tried to get closer to the microphone. I'll speak as loud as I can. Scott Peters is going to come speak at, we are having a special joint meeting between the PB Planning Group and the PB Town Council, so we have a little bit more space. Scott Peters is going to come on August 26th. I don't have a flyer yet because I just got it coordinated yesterday, to speak about the Turquoise Tower and his position on it. He has just given us a letter. He'd given us an ex post before, but this time he's given us a letter clearly saying he's against the Turquoise Tower. And so he's going to articulate his position. So we'll have a Zoom link for it as well. So, and it'll be recorded. So if anybody wants to come and hear about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Marcella. Oh,
Diane King is on cue.
okay, Diane, go ahead, Diane.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, you have to speak as loud as you can.
Okay. Diane Kane. I'm the president of the Association for the City of La Jolla. I'm just giving a quick status report of where we are in the process. We have, LAFCO has hired a consultant, Gary London, Gary London, a London motorer, to do a comprehensive financial analysis of what it would, what the separation of finances would be between La Jolla and the city of San Diego to have an independent La Jolla. The end result of this study has to prove that La Jolla can support itself with the resources it has and that San Diego is not harmed. In short, it has to be revenue neutral. So this is the outcome we're looking for LAFCO to approve this going forward to a ballot measure for citywide vote. So the timeline on this is Gary's contract will start August 1st. We're looking for a 6 to 9 month window for completing a draft. This will then go out for general review and comment, and hopefully this will all be approved and tied up in time to go to a 2028 general election ballot. So that's the timeline. We are gearing up our organization. We have just hired Paul Coogan as our executive director. We have hired someone who is expert in fundraising and another individual who is very good at planning events and schmoozing. So we're in a very heavy duty fundraising campaign right now. We also have a terrific marketing team. Our website has been completely updated. And if you want to stay abreast of what's going on, hit our website, cityoflajolla.org, for all the latest information. On that, we have a sign up for a newsletter that will be going out regularly to keep you abreast of what's happening and opportunities to volunteer and to send money. So we very much want to keep everyone here and citywide informed about what we're doing. We are progressing, we are going forward. We are hoping this is beneficial for everybody. La Jolla.
Okay, thank you, Diane. We've reached your 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Let me just try one thing here. Becky, I'm gonna Becky Rapp, go ahead and I'm not gonna start your time yet, just say hello first.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Is that better? No? Okay. Hold on, putting you back on that. We gotta work on the volume.
Okay.
Okay, Becky, go ahead.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you. My name is Becky Raff, and tonight I would like to share a concern that I recently raised at the city's Land Use and Housing Committee regarding marijuana business ownership transfers. When a marijuana business is originally proposed, communities invest a tremendous amount of time in the public review process. As many of you already know, planning groups hold public meetings, residents attend, questions are asked, concerns are addressed. In Rancho Bernardo, our community spent considerable time reviewing a conditional use permit for a marijuana business. The operator appeared before our board, discussed how they intended to operate, and made commitments to the community. Since then, the permit has changed ownership multiple times and will now operate as the Cake House. So while the transfer may be permitted under the current municipal code, neither the planning board nor the surrounding community received any notification or opportunity to meet the new operator before the change occurred. So although the conditional use permit remains with the property, it was the operator's qualifications, management, and commitment to the community that were evaluated by the public during the public hearing process. So at a minimum, I believe the municipal code should require notice to the affected community planning groups and surrounding residents. I also believe the city should evaluate whether a new operator should be required to undergo some level of discretionary review or appear before the local planning group so the community can ask questions and establish a relationship. So because this issue has the potential to affect planning groups citywide, I just wanted to ask this group to consider taking a position on recommending that the city council update the municipal code to provide greater transparency and public notification when marijuana business ownership changes occur. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Becky. And Stuart.
Victoria, we thought about the sound bar, we use the sound
Yeah,
bar.
we're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on that. I'm gonna go ahead and let Stuart. Go ahead, Stuart.
Good evening.
Talk loudly.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Hold on a second.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Stu Gross. I'm in Scripps Ranch. You all may have received or should be able to review a plan for affordable housing by the city, a master development plan. I am all for affordable housing. One of my concerns is that the properties will be city-owned properties. 7 of those proposed properties are city libraries. So please look at the plan. The surface of the plan says the library will still exist. My concern is, will the library continue to be of the same size, contain the same number of volumes, and have the same employees that they currently have? Please check out the list. If a library is one of your libraries, investigate, and investigate, because our city is in the process and has been for a number of years of reducing services to the public. Extremely important are our libraries. It's a learning center for children, and it's a place for people to have the opportunity for no charge to read books, get videos, and access computer time. So I urge everybody who's on a planning group or anyone who's in the group anywhere, check out if your library is one of these libraries. You need to get in touch with your city council person to find out exactly what the plan is for the library's existence after they build a large building of affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
master plan, citizens website, I do. It's the sound bar. Yeah.
You've got that sound bar.
So it sounds.
There's an echo going on every time someone speaks in the room.
Sorry, everybody. Okay. Okay. I know. The echo is terrible in there as well. And then all right, folks. Appreciate getting that. Okay, we're gonna work it out. We tried to work it out a little bit beforehand, but we didn't get quite there. So we'll work it out after.
You all get a guinea pig badge.
Yes, guinea pig badge. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on
Madam
now.
Chair, just wanted to apologize for being late and make sure I was on the roll call. Roger McFish for the planning committee.
Thank you. Okay.
We get all of our agenda people.
Yes, is there any other non-agenda comments? Oh, one more. Yes, sir.
Wayne English with Skyline Paradise Hills Planning Group. There's a huge disconnect between the city of San Diego and the citizens of San Diego. And for a long time, I've been trying to get them together to get the citizens with San Diego, for example, by asking the San Diego Union Tribune, over many years, we got a local section of the San Diego Tribune. They don't put the planning groups in there, and there must be 200 plus town councils, village councils, it's like 54 planning groups. And they're not communicating with each other. We need to be communicating with each other. I created this memorandum of understanding to try to get something to happen where these town councils, business districts, groups send representatives to the planning board. So we can make things happen here in San Diego, the democratic way, which we're not doing. And even the planning groups, you go to their website, they don't have all these groups in their districts. They don't advertise them. They're not communicating together. So I'm saying, get these groups, let them send representatives to the planning group. And let's get some communication going. Let's fix this problem that we have between the communication between the citizens of San Diego and the San Diego city government. I have a couple more of these that I can share with people if anybody wants one. But that's what I'm trying to do. Get something going with the communication between those.
And Victoria has an electronic copy, so you don't have to talk down for us.
Yes. Yes, sir. Sure.
You know, make a suggestion, if you contact Margaret Marisa, she is a master of getting press coverage, which gets noticed by the city. She just did this on a senior center.
She what?
She just.
Okay, I'll let you guys talk afterwards.
I'll talk to you later.
That's all right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any other public comment before we move on to approving the meeting minutes? All right, if I can have a motion, if you've all looked over the meeting minutes,
I have a correction.
okay?
You're spelling my last name.
Okay,
It's Houston, not Weston. Houston, like in Houston, Texas.
Houston, not Weston.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Were the minutes on the website?
Yeah, they're on the city website. I don't put them onto our.
No, I looked there and I had trouble finding them.
Oh,
If the
actually,
drafts are not on there because
that's
not
right.
approved.
Yeah, sorry.
So they go out in the constant contact and also in the CPC distribution. We can add you on there if you like. I mean, it's going to the North Park chair.
Okay, I thought I'll talk to you after. I thought I was, but yeah, okay, sure.
Okay. Marlon, I did have on item 6. So you need an I before item. But is this an action item? All we did was, we didn't really vote on it.
I mean, you just kind of appointed.
It's really just an appointment, so it's really informational. So if you change that to information. Okay, any other corrections? Okay, can I help?
Motion to approve the minutes is modified. Navajo.
Navajo?
I'll second it.
Okay, second from Matt. All right, we will take the roll call on approval. Carmel Valley,
Yes.
as amended. Joyce Valley. Yes. City Heights.
Yes.
Oh. Marcellus. Sure.
Yes. Can you hear me?
We not hear him now. Hold on a second. I'm gonna come back to you, Marcellus.
So is it the way to go? No.
No, okay, yeah, I just don't, we don't have output on this. Okay, college area, is that Robert?
Yeah.
that a yes?
Like, no, I have to abstain.
Abstain, okay, because you aren't here,
I wasn't there.
okay.
Ready for it.
Delmar Mesa,
Yes.
I think it's Kevin online, we have a couple. Yeah, hold on, oh, here we go. Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
Yes.
Ah, thank you. And let me go back to Marcellus.
I approve as well.
Thank you, Marcellus. Okay, downtown,
Yes.
eastern area.
Abstain.
Abstain, not present.
Correct.
Greater Golden Hill,
I am in favor.
okay, Kensington Talmadge.
Yes.
La Jolla,
Abstain. I was not here.
okay, thank you. Mission Valley.
Abstain, not present.
Not present.
Okay, I got 2 abstains. Linda Vista and Mission Valley abstain. Navajo,
Yes.
Normal Heights,
Yes.
North.
Abstain, I didn't get a chance to look at them.
Okay, Pacific Beach.
Charlie was here, but I guess I'll abstain.
Okay, thanks,
We were
Marcellus.
representative, so.
Peninsula,
Stain wasn't here.
Rancho Bernardo.
Yes.
Spears Ranch, yes. Skyline Paradise Hills,
Yes.
Southeastern,
Yes.
University,
Approved. Yes.
and Uptown.
Yes. Approved.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes, right?
Sorry, I wasn't here.
Oh,
Abstain.
did I not call you?
Yeah, you did. Abstain. I said yes, but then I realized.
Oh, you said yes, so we're
You
switching.
can, just so everyone knows,
Yeah.
you can vote yes on minutes for a meeting you did not attend.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I wasn't here to, so I abstain.
Yeah, it's more or less, did you read through them with consistency? Okay. All right. We've got that one. 13-0. That motion passes. Thank you. Okay, we are now going to move on to our action item of the evening, which is brought to you by Matthew Driver. Uptown.
My turn?
Yes,
Good.
work her. And
You
we've
got
got lots going on in the Midway.
Lots going on in the Midway. I do, I sent it to Victoria, did you?
I sent it to you.
See if I can.
You wanna just hold up my thing?
Otherwise,
Papers,
I sent it to Marlon too.
I can send it to you real quick.
Or I could, I have it as well. But I'm not on the school. What was it for when this called?
Here we go, this one, right? Sequel final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go? Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Madam Chair, for letting me bring this to the board today. What is CEQA? So CEQA, history and origin, enacted, sorry, am I blocking you? Enacted in 1970 by Ronald Reagan, stands for the California Environmental Quality Act. It was passed following the federal NEPA, which is similar. It's the National Environmental Policy Act. There you go. Thank you very much. It was in response to fires like the Cuyahoga fire. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The Cuyahoga River fire. It was a heavily polluted river. Kept catching on fire just because all the chemicals that were in the water. But similarly, there were a lot of these incidents going on in the United States. So it was an act passed to remedy that. The core mandate of it is that it requires public agencies to look before they leave and consider the environmental consequences of their discretionary actions. So any kind of new buildings, big projects, stuff like that. It aims to inform decision makers and inform the public as well to prevent avoidable environmental damage. Mitigation impact, it encourages avoiding or reducing negative impacts on the environment, including natural landscapes. That also includes traffic and circulation, air quality, and noise. Next slide, please. Okay, applicability. So CEQA applies to discretionary projects requiring agency approval. So anything that needs a permit, it applies to. It covers a wide range of projects. It's both public infrastructure. It could be commercial buildings, anything of a large scale. Usually, there is an initial study, which is how they decide whether or not they need to apply CEQA to it. It's conducted by the lead agency. Potential environmental impacts. Environmental impacts include things like traffic issues, water quality, seismic. So is a building being built on a earthquake fault? It includes infrastructure impact. Do they have enough sewer lines? Do they have water lines? What's the power grid like in that area? Noise abatement, air quality, basically everything that goes along with building a large building of some kind. If they determine that it's a big enough project and that there's a big enough impact, then they will require an environmental impact report. So what is the environmental impact report? It details potential effects. So basically it'll say, you've got this river running along it. You're going to need to build up a wall to keep wastewater from running off into the river, right? So it proposes mitigation measures and alternative solutions. The environmental impact study can take years and really is one of the main reasons that most developers don't like to do it. is that it slows down their project and it costs them a lot of money to do. One of the great things about it, though, that's really important is that you get a lot of public comment. It opens it up to the public so that you can see what the project is, what the impacts are going to be. So there will be public notices, formal review periods, lots of talk amongst the community about what's happening and how they can be involved or how they're going to be affected by it. Next slide. Community benefits. So, community benefits are obviously environmental protections, open space, rivers, watersheds, the air that you breathe, safer neighborhoods. So that's mobility, that's things like traffic, better understanding of effect on infrastructure. Are you going to have enough, if you build this high rise, are you going to have enough firemen nearby to put out a fire if that happens? Will you have police response times if you can get it? Will you have public services like bus routes or trolley? It encourages public participation, and overall it's better project planning. So it means you're going to end up with a better project in the end, just because there's going to be plenty of review, plenty of people looking at it, and plenty of ideas brought forward. The challenges are time, cost, potentially millions of dollars, potentially years in reviews and studies, complex compliance issues. There's a lot of paperwork involved. And this is the kind of thing that a lot of developers don't want to go through. And so they'll always make this claim that, yeah, no, CEQA is what's slowing down our projects. CEQA is what's raising the cost of housing. But in reality, it may make up, a small percentage, 2-3% of the overall building cost. So go ahead, next slide. Protecting residents. So these are the key takeaways here. CEQA protects current and future neighborhood residents. So current residents, people who live in the neighborhood, but also future. So that could be, if you build a high rise, that's the people who are going to live in the high rise. It's protecting them as well. You're ensuring that what you're building is going to be safe and that it's going to have the infrastructure to take care of them. It effectively balances new development with active environmental stewardship. So the projects that this applies to, major developments carry the highest risks regarding traffic, noise, air quality, water quality, negative impacts on overburdened infrastructure, which is, the traffic, always we talk about traffic, seismic liabilities, all the time. Buildings are being built on fault lines, and we haven't had our major earthquake that we've been told about is coming for the last 40 years. So seismic liabilities. This is specifically why this law is applied to large-scale projects and why this law should never be bypassed to ease builders' responsibilities. Significant impacts can be successfully avoided or mitigated when a study is conducted. The other takeaway is public transparency. This CEQA is what allows the public to know what's going on at a project. Before this, developers could come in and it was basically just a conversation between the permitting agencies and the developer. Similar to complete communities, but that's a different story. But it allows the public to be involved, right? And to know where the pitfalls are going to be of this project. Without this mandate, communities are left to trust that developers are going to self-regulate. And that's a bit like having the fox guard the hen house, right? So, next slide, please. Okay, so why am I bringing up CEQA? I'm bringing up CEQA today because a bill was recently passed through the Senate. It was quietly passed. Senator Akila Weber Pierson passed it through. She got it through committee without having to even take a vote on it, and it slipped through, and they voted on it. So this bill has now gone to the Assembly, and they're looking to vote on it here in August. There's a number of issues with it. The bill was essentially designed specifically to navigate past the CEQA requirements for the Midway Rising project. It's a big issue because if it was just Midway Rising project alone, that would be one thing. However, there's another project called the Navmore project that is also in the Midway district that is looking to put in 10,000 units. So if you open this up, it opens the floodgates to allow them to also come in. So you're looking at potentially 15,000 new units in an area, you know, that just can't handle that at the crossroads of the 8 and the 5. This bill, if it gets passed, sets a precedent for all future projects that fall under the CEQA requirement. Basically, all the builders who run up against, you know, obstacles in CEQA are going to petition to use the same law to bypass CEQA and get their projects through. Building height limits will be ignored on future projects. Important environmental studies will be bypassed, which could lead to all types of disasters, pollution, seismic liquefaction, which is something people don't talk about too much. Midway District is actually built on the bottom sludge that was sucked out of Mission Bay back in the 50s and 60s, right? They dredged Mission Bay in order to make that the wonderful park that we enjoy today. But they took all that mud and they put it up on the Midway, and then they packed it down, and then they built everything on top of Midway. So that's actually a silty lagoon down there. And of course, the public will not be informed about the liabilities associated with the projects. So, next. All right. So specifics, because I know I'm going on about what they do, but this is what CEQA actually says. So it says, environmental impacts associated with increased building height alone shall not be considered significant impacts if the project meets specific conditions. So basically they're saying, we're not going to worry about building heights because there is a 30-foot height limit along the coast. And they say, as long as it meets these conditions, we're not going to worry about CEQA, right? It's interesting. They made a small change to it where they excluded geotechnical or hydrological effects. So that means liquefaction. Liquefaction. Yeah, because we brought it to their attention. Hey, you can't put these towers on there. So they said, okay, we'll do the proper studies for that. Interesting side note. No reimbursement is required by this act to section 6 of Article 4B. What that means is it doesn't have to go before the committee because no money is exchanging hands. So that's how a kilowatt was easy to get it through the Senate quickly because there's no money changing hands. So it didn't need to go before a vote. So they add that line in to be able to push it through a little bit faster. Okay, so mandatory conditions for exemption. So density and use must be analyzed in a certified environmental impact report. Basically, it says you don't need to use CEQA's EIR as long as the city does their own EIR, right? So they're saying if it's over 30 feet, then you don't have to do the CEQA report. You can just do the city's report. And we all know how the city does their report. Infill site. This is an interesting one. Project must be on a previously graded infill site. So they basically specifically named the Midway Rising in this bill so that it would attach directly to this bill. Another very interesting one, no biological resources present on the site. None are present on the site, but you'll see in some other pictures here coming afterwards that the project is directly adjacent to the San Diego watershed, river watershed. I mean, right on. It's you have Midway Rising, then you have the 8 freeway, and then you've got the San Diego River, right? Additionally, you have the Famosa Slough at the west end of it, that any kind of pollution will drain off into that and get into the San Diego River shed. And then you also have a overflow canal that goes over through Liberty Station that pours out. So basically, it's all affected by that. Non-industrial, projects not industrial. And this was the kicker here that they thought might sell it a little bit better. Must create high-wage, highly skilled jobs paying prevailing wages. But they don't specify what those jobs are, what they pay. There's no detail. It just says that. So go ahead, look at the next slide. All right, so this is the project area right here. right? This is Midway. This is the 8, and this is the 5. So what they're talking about doing is taking the entire population of Uptown, which can you go to the next slide there? One more slide. There we go. So this is the entire population of Uptown. They want to take this entire population and put it right here. So if you live here, your only way to get here is a freeway off-ramp here or a freeway off-ramp here. What does that do? If you're trying to come from inland and go to the coast, you're going to hit a traffic jam of 40,000 people trying to get home at the end of a workday. So you're talking 2-hour drives to get to the coastline. If you're going downtown, you're going to hit the same traffic jam coming through here. That affects everybody up on the 163, traffic everywhere. It'll just situate everything. So it's too much, too fast. We don't have the infrastructure for it. And it's just a huge risk. Can you go back one slide? Hopefully. Forward one. There we go. So this is the watershed that I'm talking about. So this is the San Diego River. This is where the project would be going on, and this right here, right? So water is pouring off this way down into the San Diego Rivershed. It comes down here to the Famosa Slough, which dumps down into the Rivershed. And then it dumps down here into this canal that's an overflow flood canal that will dump down into the San Diego Bay. So, to say that there is no biological resources, environmental resources in this area is a sham. You're right in the center of it all. So, I think there's one last slide on that. Okay, so I am here actually, well, I'll read this letter and then I'll make the motion afterwards. So it says to Chris Ward, but actually I would like to send this letter to all the assembly members and also to Akila Weber Pierson. The letter says, the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, was enacted into California law in 1970 to ensure that state and local government agencies consider the environmental effects of discretionary projects before approving them. CEQA does not prohibit development outright. Instead, it establishes a process for identifying potential environmental impacts, informing the public, considering alternatives, and where feasible, reducing or mitigating significant environmental harm. CEQA promotes informed decision-making, government transparency, public participation, protection of natural resources, protection of historic sites, public health, and protects communities from avoidable environmental damages. CEQA is not perfect, but it is a critical tool for protecting our communities. Community members should be deciding what's best for their community. Instead, this bill puts that decision-making in the hands of developers who will cut corners and ignore the needs of the community. This bill was specifically crafted to facilitate the building of the Midway Rising project and will do more harm than good for the state as a whole. We urge you to be on the right side of history and vote no on State Bill 958. So, I'll make a motion. So, okay, go ahead. Let's answer the question.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
So I understand also that the entire sewer system for the city of San Diego is under in that area. Is that correct? No.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that would come up on the right.
You would think, but
Yeah.
is that
There is a storm drain system that does run down through there. Yes. So like.
or everybody knows?
I know, storm drain. Yeah.
You know?
So
It does?
Yeah, pump station 2, which is the main pump station that takes all the metro sewage. And pumps it over Point Loma to the sewage treatment plant. It's right down there by, if you go back to the map. It's right down there by the end of the airport on the southwest end.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. You know, all that was open before. So if you were gonna put it in, it was easy to dredge out and put it in there. So there you go. Yes, it is. Go ahead.
I followed this issue for the last 3 years and wrote the Peninsula Group's opposition letter for this. And what status of the bill right now is before the assembly Appropriations Committee is likely to go on their consent calendar because there are no votes.
Yeah.
And if it gets on that, but no votes, it's likely to go on the assembly floor.
Yeah.
So thank you for raising opposition. My opposition is that this is SCSI special interest legislation.
Absolutely.
To use developer.
Let
I
me
don't know
take-
if it's going to be Judy. No, I'd like to speak.
Go ahead.
I'd like to speak. And so consequently, I urge all community planning groups to oppose this. We are on official opposition on the committee analysis on this. And so the way you can do it, there's a special legislative portal where you can upload your letters and have them go to all the members on the committee. And I assume if it gets out of here, have it go to all the assembly members. This is far more efficient to do it, but this is SCSI special interest legislation.
It is. You're absolutely right.
Let me take it online.
Oh, yeah, sure,
You
go
can't
ahead.
see it. Go
Yeah.
ahead and unmute.
Did you say me?
You're up.
Okay, good. I just want to say thank you because you so well articulated that there are some very large development projects that are not ministerial projects. For instance, the Turquoise Tower. You know, ministerial projects were made for, you know, garage remodels, you know, even the ADUs are more appropriate, but a 23-story tower in the middle of a neighborhood needs CEQA review. So thank you so much for articulating this so well.
If this passes through, they will use the same law to try and avoid the CEQA study as well on Turquoise project, should that get passed through. So, yeah.
We used the same argument and did so.
Yeah.
In the Assembly Natural Resources Committee. They don't care about public policy, it's the law politics.
Do we have another?
Well, I'll go back.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Back and forth.
So I think you probably know this, but Chris Ward is the head of the housing committee.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna ask a question and it may sound kind of dumb. Why do we have CEQA as a law if we're going to pass a law that makes it so we don't have to follow CEQA?
Thank you. It goes to the root of our argument. Yeah.
And my question is really kind of an opposite, because what is in place of CEQA if CEQA is not in place? Because that's a California Act. Are there national laws still?
Yeah, there's still a national law. Yeah, there's still.
So
is it NEPA? I think it is.
NEPA?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing California's laws are more strict.
They're about the same, I believe. I think they're much.
But there has to be a federal nexus.
They've kind of gone step and step. But I mean, no matter how strict it is, you shouldn't throw it out just because it takes more time. You know, I've talked to developers and they say, this isn't, it's not one of those things that really holds us up. We'll get through it.
Don't confuse my question. I'm not in favor, but what I am suggesting is if we're gonna avoid CEQA, there is still a law in place, right?
If they bypass CEQA?
Yeah.
Not really. And they have to follow the national standard, yeah.
But that scope is much smaller.
Yeah.
It has to be a federal nexus, so federal law would not.
Because it's a municipal project.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, let's
Thank you.
move into.
Except that those waterways are federal waterways.
If it required Army Corps.
Army Corps 404, 401, yeah. Then there would be a federal nexus.
We have an online.
Okay, online, Darren Esposito, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, thank you and thanks for the presentation, taking the time to do this. Quick question, when you mentioned the traffic, is there any proposed some type of public transportation access? You know, that project includes the sports arena, right? So would there be any public transportation trying to alleviate some of the traffic to try to go to the, you know, there's a game or an event?
I don't know that they've gotten to that stage yet, in the Midway Rising. I mean, they basically just said, here's our concept, 4,500 new units and a new sports arena. But I don't believe that they
I
have
saw it,
proposed
but it
it.
was first before them. And
Yeah.
they had a lot of concept out there, but no, there wasn't.
Tons of concept, but
There was no
no.
transportation.
Yeah, they don't have
That was
anything
the big-
firm. They're not promising anything other than big, beautiful, everything you've always wanted in a neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to do the city center concept up in LA, basically, where they build a sports complex in the middle and they surround it with retail and housing. But a lot of people don't go to the city center in LA anymore because it's poorly planned.
Any other board members?
Oh,
lots.
sorry.
I have a kind of a clarifying question, speaking of Nexus, is it the Midway planning group weighed in on this?
They're all for it.
Okay,
Yes.
so, all right, I'm just wondering why Uptown, like,
Well, it's Uptown, it is Peninsula Planning Group, it is the Old Town Planning Group, it's all the community planning groups surrounding it, essentially.
okay.
Who are really speaking out against it. I won't say anything about the Midway Planning Group.
And then, I agree with the point that it's kind of like very like specialized legislation. There have been other ones like this for like sports arenas and stuff over the years to exempt them from CEQA. But I mean, just a couple of things just on your presentation, just to note, I think, the cost of doing CEQA analysis is not a huge cost. As you mentioned, I think more of the issue is it's used by people who are trying to block development as a legal way to delay, and that adds costs that goes beyond the actual production of the study. So that would be fair to add that to your presentation. And then also there were 15,000 people that lived on the Midway Rising site up and through World War II up until the 1950s, and the area could support people back then, and to act like it's never been able to support a population on it. But so I mean, in general, I think the city. I think this is like they call it belt and suspenders, kind of like this is another thing the city's trying to do to get the project through. I think it's gonna go. I'll vote for this motion just because of the kind of those views that sleazy kind of special interest for one specific site. Legislation is a good way to do it.
Good, I'll take the vote. Thank you. Go ahead, North Park.
Yeah, so this went before the city as a ballot measure twice, right?
No, the height limit went before the city once.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I know in 2020 and 2022, and that passed both times.
It did, and then it also lost in court because it
Right.
was deceitful marketing for it. It wasn't an honest perception of what it was.
I think what my point would be, and I can tell I'm gonna get outvoted, but my point would be that all the things you've said are valid, but I remember they were also brought up in both of those campaigns. The city got a chance to weigh in on what they thought, and they voted that they wanted it. And so I, respect CEQA, certainly. I think the point of CEQA is to allow the public to weigh in on these things, these projects. Most projects, I don't think in most communities will ever get one, district-wide or area-wide vote, let alone two back-to-back ones. And so I think that all the issues you brought up have gone to the voters. The voters have made their, opinion known. And so I think that to say that this is inconsistent with at least the spirit of CEQA, I think doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think that in that sense, you had mentioned that this is a carve out for Midway Rising and for Navoir. And again, those were the two areas that were in the district that were in the ballot measure. So I don't see this as a backdoor or a kind of sleazy thing. I think this is something that is addressing CEQA in a way that, again, is consistent with the spirit of it and is consistent with what the city of San Diego voted for. I respectfully disagree.
I actually think that argument does not hold water. And the discussion here is over State Bill 958 bypassing CEQA. It's not about whether we're going to build Midway Rising. If they want to build Midway Rising, fine. But the problem is follow the law and protect the law. Okay, that's the issue there. But not make a carve out for one specific project because you don't know what other projects are going to come down the road. And if you carve this one out, other projects that are higher liabilities may come down the road, and they're going to use that same law.
But it
And
is
Midway
about.
Rising isn't feasible without removing the hyphen.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is about.
We're not gonna, we're gonna go move on to our next comment. Go ahead.
I haven't been a secret practitioner for about 10 years, so some of my comments may be somewhat outdated. But this incremental dismantling of CEQA has been going on for years. SoFi Stadium was built without CEQA. It was declared statutorily exempt by law. The most important, in my mind, the most important benefit of CEQA, it informs the public of how these projects affect their environment, their quality of life. And this incremental dismantling is diluting that benefit. And we have to push back on every attempt to dismantle CEQA, in my opinion.
Yes. I agree. Thank you.
David?
I just wanted to, at least in part, address an earlier question about federal protections and applications. And I know that the equivalent for cultural resources is the National Historic Preservation Act, NAPA. It's enforced pretty much only through a consultation process. It's called Section 106. That currently is being dismantled by the administration. It only applies to federal undertakings, which can be any bit of public fund, government, federal government money, but it's similar to CEQA in ways because it is a disclosure program and it's a public dialogue, but it's with the last couple of weeks, it's basically going away unless there's some really heroic and miraculous.
California still has a state historic preservation office you have to consult.
Yeah, but NEPA is no, it's not gonna apply.
Go ahead, Colin.
I'm disappointed by the direction of this nation. Ronald Reagan signed CEQA. Richard Nixon signed NEPA. And the Democrats are in charge now. And this is what we're getting. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Go ahead, Carmel.
Yeah, there's a lot of other planning groups, in my view. I know Carmel Valley is, that's a far away, I guess, relatively. They'd be against this. What would help with my group is a fact sheet and also some weigh-in paragraph from the CEQA people explaining how they feel about it. Because that's one of the first things that'll come up. It's like, you're being undermined here, name of the local municipality calling the shots. But I think there's more to it than that. Then the comment about, let's just pass a law to undo it as another law. Well, I want to do that with 1572. Can we do that? But so a fact sheet would be great. A paragraph from the secret people would be great. And the understanding that there's, I have to drive to the airport. I don't want this thing.
Yeah. Start planning to get there 3 hours early.
And something that, nobody looks at too is the utilities. What capacity are the sanitary sewers and the water system? All the electricity, somebody got information from San Diego Gas and Electric on the electric grid in that area. I mean, these things are expensive and disruptive.
Yeah.
And plus, like you said, the people looking at that, using that to leverage your own projects elsewhere in the city. I just don't see it working for our benefit, and I know why the developers.
It's the systematic, dismantling of laws that we put in place to protect us for the better good to build more housing is what's going on. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
Call for the question.
We don't have.
Linda Vista, we're gonna go ahead. Linda Vista.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for this presentation. This actually came up last night at the Linda Vista Planning Group meeting. We actually had Senator Pierson's representative there, and she spoke to this. When I challenged her on this looks like a CEQA exemption bill. The response was, no, it's not a CEQA exemption. it's a CEQA oversight bill. I said, oh, okay, that's.
Change the verbiage.
Yeah, that's how
You say override.
No, it's oversight, right now. But, no, I really appreciate the clarity with which you explained this to us. You pull back your letter, though, there's one thing that I do think needs to be changed. You have it written as a state bill, 958, it's Senate bill.
Senate bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Just needs to
the
be
only.
Senate bill.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having this way, Paul, you
Go ahead.
have something or no?
Sure.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
I got enough, no.
No, this stinks to high heaven because this bill is definitely a specific carve out for a special interest. And frankly, I've had enough of the chipping away at the rule of law and equal protection under the law. And we've seen this with footnote 7 in Encanto. We've seen this with complete communities rollout, parking meter rollout, whatever it is. This mayor will do whatever he wants. If he wants to go to Sacramento and get some new laws there, what's next? Is he gonna go to Washington? You had me at the rule of law. Okay, so I don't care what the underlying issue is. This is wrong.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll make one comment.
Okay.
Keep it very short.
All right.
My husband works on Point Loma.
Uh-huh.
And we're in Scripps Ranch. It takes him 20 minutes to get to work, 25, depending. It takes him over an hour every night to get home because of the 5/8 slowdown.
Yeah.
And he sits for that long. So my concern is the infrastructure.
Yeah.
It is also CEQA, which, the checks and balances that go on, that happen with CEQA, with traffic studies, with all of that. It needs to be a discretionary project like anyone else who's out there.
Yep.
And it needs to go through the checks and balances. I'm gonna go to David.
No, I'm not speaking for Midway, but I can understand why Midway Pacific Planning Group wants this project. Not to be harsh, but if you go to Midway, there's no there. And so it is ripe for redevelopment to become something else. And I'm sure many of the people who voted yes just looked at that and said, I'm voting yes on that, because I voted yes the first time. But it's now become clear that so many of the impacts go to the communities that surround it. So the Midway Pacific people have even more reason to vote yes, that they don't have the impact and they get all the benefits. So a question for you, what does the city's EIR say about liquefaction?
I couldn't tell you.
And do we have the capability of building?
I would assume that they would have to do a seismic study.
Do we have the ability to build high rises in liquefiable soil?
I mean,
and you may not know because
they do in Japan. So, I can tell you that it can be done, but it's all the surrounding infrastructure, not only the buildings, but if you get into a liquefaction scenario like that, it disrupts everything that's under the ground as well. So it's usually the utilities and stuff that get destroyed more so than the modern buildings that get built these days.
So my other question is, I think it was something Kevin Bagley raised about transit. Obviously, if any transit is built in this area, if it's on the roads, it'd just be stuck in all the other traffic. So if there's any transit, it would have to be elevated transit to do any sort of improvement. Or
I can tell you, MTS has said they are not looking at doing any more expansion projects until 2050.
And then also, can you build an elevated rail line on liquefiable soil?
Yeah.
But then you go back to the basic issue of this particular law and the circumstances in which this particular exemption or not oversight bill, but override bill. Yes, I agree with Paul Coogan's comments.
You bring up concerns that are specifically would be answered in the CEQA review process.
Yeah.
Which is my argument of why you go through the process so that you learn these things.
So I would like to see Midway Pacific redeveloped. I'm opposed to this bill and I'm opposed to what is getting crammed through on us without sufficient review.
There is development going on down there. The post office, the old post office, they're building some beautiful housing down there. There's all sorts of projects going on down there. And they are following the guidelines. They are going through CEQA. They are, doing it the right way. So, and all I'm proposing is that you follow those guidelines.
And given the massiveness of both Navigor and Midway Pacific, and Midway Rising, they really need to have a comprehensive overall plan that really thinks through everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go online. Matt, you've
Sure.
got your hand up for a long time. Just Matt Wallstrom.
Matt Wallstrom.
Go ahead, Matt, unmute.
A former committee member. Hey, Matt.
He just put his, there he is. Speak loudly, Matt.
Yeah, hi. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Hey, Matt.
Mr. Driver, yes, sir. I missed when you called me. Anyway, okay, sorry. It's a long meeting. I don't mean to take up anyone's time. Yes, my name is Matt Wallstrom. I am the former chair of the former Uptown Planners, and I am so gratified to see so many familiar faces and gratified by the fact that the representation of Uptown is in such capable hands. This was just an astounding presentation and laying out of the facts. Some background on this before I jump to the article in the Voice of San Diego. CEQA was passed by Governor Reagan in 1970. So that's how far we've fallen. Republicans were the ones spearheading. And now we have the YIMBY Democrats claiming on Voice of San Diego that their efforts could be thought of as another tactic in the Swiss cheese playbook. Because they keep, like, carving exceptions out. Well, you know what? That's all very like gourmet, but the point of it is that we know that here. I mean, Swiss cheese. It's made. The hells come with it. It's part of the experience. No. What they are is termites. This is eating away every protection.
That's crazy.
Environmental, everything. All in the service of the hotelier and rentier. Okay, I mean, just a recap quickly. Kathleen Lippett in the public comments, the closing of the Mission Beach restrooms. Joyous Group, the denial of the appeal of footnote 7. Darren Esposito, no transit spur. Well, kind of obviates anything else he said after that. SB 958 should be rejected by the Assembly for the simple reason it cuts corners to holistic environmental protections at the cost to future generations who must suffer the liability. If you care about anyone alive other than yourself, and definitely this is what they used to call a no-brainer, but sadly we can't count on that level of rationality. I thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Okay. We can go back to Voice Valley.
Yep.
And then I'll come back to you right after.
Just really fast, Lost Neighborhoods at San Diego History Center, actually showcases Pioneer Town, which is what area was called, that, where Sports Arena is now, and it was actually the Black community that lived there from the military. So the military put, I believe, barracks or housing all in that area at some point. And some of our members on the board actually lived there, and I don't think they were probably really little, but just to get a more historical understanding, I just thought if anybody has not seen that exhibit, it's actually quite wonderful. About honestly all of southeastern San Diego from Barnesburg and all the way to Choice Valley. So this is not new stuff.
Thank you. Noreen, go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you they should not be messing with secret. One, it's a lot of places are truly following secret. We have a project in our neighborhood of Amherst, Elizabeth Vista Heights, where secret says the closest stream is 3 miles away in Paradise Hills, when it's actually 2 blocks away in South Choice Creek. So there's been, whether we change secret technically, there's a big problem with the city of San Diego not complying with secret in general, and also, this whole project was approved by the Skyline Paradise Hills Planning Group, of course, but far as the Midway area, I'm extremely happy that they are finally wanting to triple and quadruple density in higher resource areas. Cause all these projects come into District 4 and they all get passed. So I really support 4,000 homes over there. But the big issue that's been mentioned partially here with the transportation, you also got to think of SB 79 is going throughout the whole city. And this project is within a mile of the Old Town trolley station, right? And I don't know if it's within a mile of the trolley stop in Mission Hill. So there are lots of ways to handle the transportation if they use models in Chicago and models in New York that did responsible transportation much better than MTF. And then the last thing is, if anyone here maybe needs a copy of Robert's rules, because it's supposed to be a motion on the floor and then discussion and question. Not supposed to be discussions, questions.
I appreciate that, Doreen, thank you.
And that's one of the main reasons too, if you say you want a seat at the table, then this board needs to start, following Robert's rules and the Brown Act.
Thank you, Doreen, I appreciate your comments. Okay, so,
I'll make a note of it.
thank you. Okay, Matt,
I would like to make a motion to adopt this letter. Submit either through the portal to all the assembly members. Do I have a second? I'll second it. There we go.
so we have a motion on the floor, we have a second, hold on.
So
We have a motion on the floor. And Matt, if you'd like to repeat the motion.
Sure, I can repeat the motion. So the motion is to accept the letter.
What letter?
So it was the letter that I wrote. It was at the end.
I didn't see it.
I know. We're gonna bring it back up here. Okay, here's the letter. I'll read it out loud again one more time. Just disregard that because it's gonna say everybody else's name on it also. The California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, was enacted in California law in 1970 to ensure that state and local government agencies consider the environmental effects of discretionary projects before approving them. CEQA does not prohibit development outright. Instead, it establishes a process for identifying potential environmental impacts, informing the public, considering alternatives, and where feasible, reducing or mitigating significant environmental harm. CEQA promotes informed decision-making, government transparency, public participation, and protection of natural resources, protection of historical sites, public health, and protects communities from avoidable environmental damage. CEQA is not perfect, but it is a critical tool for protecting our communities. Community members should be deciding what's best for their community. Instead, this bill puts that decision-making in the hands of developers who will cut corners and ignore the needs of the community. This bill was specifically crafted to facilitate the building of the Midway Rising project and will do more harm than good for the state of California as a whole. We urge you to be on the right side of history and vote no on State Bill 958. Should be Senate Bill. Yes.
Okay, so the motion is to
Adopt
this
this
letter from the CPC. It's seconded by Chris Beasley from London this time. Open for discussion.
Friendly amendments.
Yeah.
Anything?
You have to take a motion on it this week and get it to the assembly because it will be back before the appropriations committee. It's not on their consent calendar.
Right.
By Monday. And I also ask you a friendly amendment to ask them if it is on the consent calendar, that some member take it off the consent calendar.
I'd like to propose a friendly amendment, which is to allow the chair to make stylistic changes where she sees fit, if he wants to personalize it, so.
Yes, I'm fine with that. Can you add his amendment in also?
Okay, so find out if it's asked for it to be removed from the consent.
If
agenda,
it
it's not.
is, I assume it's gonna be on the consent calendar.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So this is part, let me just make sure I'm clear on this. This is part of the letter to make sure it's off, or how are,
The request in the letter that it be removed from the consent agenda. And when the bill makes its way to the floor to vote. And we'll leave that stylistic creativity up to you or check you.
my staff, don't my staff.
Go ahead. You can bring up more. Now, are you able to get anything, from the secret people, put in your letter?
I don't think there would be time to do it. I'm really concerned that they're gonna take a vote on this thing right away, so I'm trying to just get this thing out like immediately. Yeah, we're cutting it close.
So I just have one word change. I don't know if everyone will be okay with this. Go back to the letter, the last sentence of the developer who will cut corners. I mean, I think if you said they cut corners, you're presuming that they've already decided to cut corners.
I am presuming that they've already decided to cut corners.
All right.
Yeah.
I will probably use that as part of my stylistic.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Go ahead. You can be more firm with Will, or you can leave it
okay.
open to suggestion with Meg. Yeah, likely.
Likely.
Potentially. Lots of words there. Call for the question.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, so we are gonna vote for this. CPC is gonna support the letter written by Matt with stylistic changes, and also to ask if it's on the consent agenda, the bill to be removed from the consent agenda. And the ultimate result is to vote no on this.
Yes, the ultimate goal is tell everybody to vote.
All right, we're gonna take roll. Is everybody clear with that? Carmel Valley.
Approved.
Choice Valley and Canto. Yeah. City Heights.
Yes.
Say that again, Marcel.
Yes.
Yes, okay. College area.
Yes.
Delmar Mesa.
No.
Okay. Downtown.
Yes.
Eastern area.
Yes.
Greater Golden Hill.
Yes.
Kensington Talmadge.
Yes.
La Jolla.
Yes.
Linda Vista.
Yes.
Mission Valley.
No,
Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, you're on there? Did you say no?
no, absolutely not. No.
Okay. Navajo.
Yes.
Normal Heights.
Yes.
North Park.
No.
Pacific Beach.
Yes.
Peninsula.
Strong yes.
Rancho Bernardo.
Yes.
Scripps Ranch is yes. Skyline Paradise Hills.
Yes.
Southeastern.
No.
Okay. University
Yes.
and Uptown.
Yes.
Okay, did I miss anyone? Everybody's online. Okay, get some totals here. Okay, they both agreed it's 19 yay, 4 against, so that motion passes. All right, thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, we are gonna move on to, I did have here, this is really just informational item, city appeals fees. They, cost in Canto, you guys know, 23 something now for an appeals fee. 2380. 2380. And the question came up, do planning groups have funds in some way, or a suggestion to put heads together here to take back to our planning groups and have some ideas of how can you have some funds stored up for one appeal. And I know Wally in our planning group said you actually need 2, because sometimes you have to appeal to city planning department, planning commission, as well as city council. So his suggestion was having, about $5,000 somewhere in case your planning group would like to do that. And also, and you know this best, Sage, it also, in some cases, some of these decisions, you only have 10 days, a minimum of 10 days to.
Well, to be clear, ours was only $1,000.
Oh, yeah, you're on the, you were on the old.
Yeah, you were the old one.
You were on
But
the
yeah, they immediately changed it to 2080. Probably because they had to do another 500 pages of PIR, so, yeah, or whatever it was, very soon.
Yeah, David.
So in our community, there was one organization that generally raised money through a fundraising block party. It just went to charity, and I did go to them and ask if we needed to do a rush appeal, could they have $1,000 at the time to give to us to do that? So we sort of pre-cleared with this organization to have some money available. I would now have to go back and ask them if they would have $2,400 available. I'm sure they could fork over that. But then you may have to make up the difference with a rush appeal to the community and to your board person.
Normal access about, I don't know, $80 in the bank. And I know that our membership can come up with tens of dollars. Just based on our fundraising for the community garden, not a well money community. And it's even $1,000 is a burden. We do a lot of things based on volunteer efforts and DIY carpentry. So we get by, but the idea of doing an appeal at all would be an absolute showstopper. Even at 1,000.
I think maybe we should ask if the top 1% of people that live in San Diego, if their added I mean, everything is based upon how much we earn here as far as affordable housing. And for a family of four in the city of San Diego, the average median is $131,000 a year. Now, that's the average. If we pulled out even the top 0.5% of people from that group, and I say this because then maybe our median income would be much, much lower. And then there would be more reason for the city to understand that appeal fees would be more coherent in that arena. Now, I don't foresee that happening.
Well, they are trying to pull out.
Right, yeah.
The boys trying to secede.
Yeah, oh, La Jolla, yeah. We thought it'd be fun to be like La Jolla and La Cholla.
Yeah. Question, how many planning groups have like a bank account for like the city reimbursements and stuff, but we don't, but how many, does anybody here have a bank account? So about half.
Yeah, Mission Valley does.
Normal Heights entrusts ours with the Normal Heights Community Development Corporation, so they hold the 501c3 incorporation in order to open that bank account. And our group is not registered as a corporation, so we can't actually open a bank account. Which is why we rely on other nonprofits to go on.
Okay, that's a good idea.
David?
I just, I believe by city policy, planning groups cannot incorporate, therefore, city, having a bank account, or that sort of financial engagement is challenging. In my own neighborhood, it's a mixed resource neighborhood. We have, and we have a very strong neighborhood group, but they also have a lot on their plate. They're suing the city for one thing. They also are managing a couple of canyons, and there are a lot of expenses of various sorts. The last time Golden Hills filed an appeal, I think there was one in the last 20 years, if that, and probably much longer than that. So it's not something. I'm really disappointed that the city's recognition of planning groups standing has been expressed in many ways, but including in the requirement that they pay these fees from the beginning of time. Planning groups had a certain access to that process with the understanding that they would not file appeals in any frivolous manner. I think that in most communities that hasn't really been the case. So
Yes,
revise 600-24 to restore the standing of planning groups, I think would be desirable, even if not expected, approach.
Scripps Ranch doesn't have a bank account, but we have a Voice of Scripps Ranch, which was created because we did appeal a project and we actually won a settlement, a large settlement from the developer. So enough that they created something to be able to use it and then send funds to support the community. And that's our only way that we've seen to be able to do that. We have a civic association that has a bank account, but we don't have any type of bank account either. So it does put planning groups in a very, very tricky position, purposely or not. That's up to you to decide. We used to have them waived, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it
And
was
then
like
restricted,
reform
but-
and
but still,
everything else. So, you know, continuing to push for the things that we keep pushing for, our voices to be, you know, come back.
I'd just like to add one more thing,
Yeah.
that is that a nonprofit is able to accept donations that are charitable contributions, but they also are restricted. They cannot just do anything they want. They disperse funds, it has to go to another nonprofit, which writes planning groups right out of the picture. So it would have to be a third party, not a planning group. Generally, I think, to do that process, which is an incomplete and incorrect picture.
Yeah, I would say that that's the exact catch-22 here, is that you're as an entity, you're being asked to pay for something, but by law, you're not allowed to have a bank account, and therefore, how do you manage those funds legally? If somebody's gonna put them in their personal account, now you've created a liability situation. So it's a rock and a hard place. I think that it would even be challenged on a legal basis, that the CBGs should be allowed to incorporate or
Since you've taken away our ability to waive fees.
or waive the fees.
Yeah, one or the other. I'm gonna go to Lisa real quick. Lisa Peterman.
Yes, I was just going to say that we do have a bank account and we have talked about this much, even though we are in La Jolla, we still only have like 1,080 and something because our goal was always to keep enough so we could appeal something, but now we can't. So it even affects us.
Thanks, Gloria. Yeah, Chris.
I guess a question that I have is it tilting against windmills to try to get the city to change some of these policies? I mean, it probably is, but I mean, I look at the judiciary, for example. So if I was a civil lawsuit in San Diego Superior Court, way cheaper than $2,000. It's only like $400, $500. To file an appeal in the court of a civil appeal in the court of appeal, there's $700 some dollars. So this is like outrageously expensive to do an appeal for this kind of administrative thing. And so I wonder if, it's something that we can have the city revisit, whether it's, provide fee waivers to planning groups or allowing planning groups to restructure as 501c3s or something that makes it so that there's a way that this becomes feasible. I mean, it's obvious the city has made it so it's not feasible for planning groups to appeal. That's part of the, that's not a feature, it's the whole purpose, right? But I wonder if it's worth it to, get some change.
Oh, okay, sorry, Ken.
Thank you. So Navajo was very recently a C4 and we just got rid of it. But Marlon, I'm like incorrect. The city did not prohibit us from being corporations.
No, well, the only mentioning of incorporation for planning groups, because some of the planning groups were or are, like I remember College Area was College Area Community Council. I forgot what the other one was, but yeah, it just says that you keep your operating procedures separate from your articles of incorporation.
Yeah.
Via the state of California.
And so, and I'm not a lawyer but I think this is entirely possible. That you can establish as a C4 mutual benefit group, a nonprofit public charity group, 501c3, as a subsidiary corporation to handle all that other kind of stuff. You might have to separate, boards and all that, but it's a little extra paperwork, but it's possible.
And then the annual filing fees, so you do have to have
Yeah.
some form of income.
I served on the City of Park Council, which is in some ways, the Park Council is equivalent to a planning group. We were explicitly told by city staff, we were not allowed to incorporate. There was a friends group and they needed to divest themselves, completely form a separate corporate structure that had no links whatsoever. They could have shared board members and so on, but they could not be an affiliate of the Park Council. That's what city staff told us. Some of that, some of my imagination, my interpretation. It was the explicit information we received from city staff.
Well, what I'd like to do is just ask you guys to take this back to your planning groups and maybe put it on an agenda. And you never know who you've got in your planning group that's like, I've got the best way, the cheapest way, whatever. And that would be great. And if you guys, if something comes up, then that we, as a community CPC wants to go and write a letter to the city saying, here's what we'd like to do, then we can put that on the agenda. So go back to your planning groups and talk about it and see what
Can I have 30 seconds to read something that I find amazing?
30 seconds.
This is on 30 so far. There are three things. The ballot loophole in California City Council directly adopts a voter-based initiative. The action is considered ministerial instead of discretion. The strategy, developers gather signatures for a local ballot initiative to approve the stadium project. The approval, instead of putting it to a public vote, the Englewood City Council exercised its legal right to directly adopt the initiative. Because of this specific approach, the project was legally exempt from any IR. So they just, in council at Englewood, they just approved it.
Wait, are we talking about?
It's not stuff that happens if you're not watching.
Oh, okay. So
I just find that amazing, so that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. One last comment and then I'm gonna go.
Just Choice Valley had a GoFundMe, to be clear. And I obviously am not in charge of that GoFundMe, somebody else is. So that's how we pay for attorneys and stuff like that because of the separation. And as I understood it to come into this, at the end or whatever. So that's how, and then we didn't have to have a 501c3 or another board. And I think that's where the discrepancy maybe lies is that, you have a big change up every year, people in this group. So how do you manage the monies within that group? And also a corporation and raising funds. Now, could we raise as much funds? We could not. And that was actually our biggest problem is that because we were not a 501c3, people did not want to give what they got on there.
They don't get the discount.
Yeah, they don't get enough break on taxes. Okay, folks, thank you so much. Yeah, if you'll go back to your CPGs, if you guys come up with information, please email me. So I can take a look at it and see if it's something that we can put as an agenda item on a future agenda. With that, we're gonna move on to staff report from Marlon.
So I have two things for you guys. One thing is, the CIP priorities. Requested of all the planning groups to provide their capital, projects from your community. The deadline has been extended to August 10th. Originally it was August 1st. I think, Victoria reached out to staff and granted an extension for all the planning meetings. And then, my second thing is, if I can share. Oh, what is that?
Well, I guess.
Oh, sure. Just share it, then all that is in people.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I can.
Oh, perfect. Oh, thank you. Okay, so, as I've done before, I kind of bring forward a kind of a preview for the CPC regarding initiatives that the city planning department's working on. The next initiative that's coming up, that will be before you at some time, is related to the extreme heat action plan. And this deals with a hot topic. So this is actually an issue, with the weather changing and how heat and how people cope with that is very different in various communities. For instance, some communities where there is a lot of tree canopy or infrastructure to mitigate heat is different than other communities, say, without that tree canopy, or they have a lot of heat island type of development within the community. So this action plan is going to come up with policies and ideas for projects to help mitigate it throughout the city. And so we're kind of launching this project. There's a survey that'll be live. I think it's live now. If you look at the QR code and activate that, it'll be available until the end of August. And then there'll be some community workshops and engagement starting in the fall. And so there's the information there. This is all I have on that, but if you have any specific questions, just please forward them to me and I'll get that information to the right staff. And then my last thing is to mention that, and I'll just stop sharing my go to this thing. Just real quickly, I wanted to just let everybody know that, oops, no. Okay, so just want to let you guys know that our work program for fiscal year 2027 is online and available. And some of you guys have seen this when I do the annual trainings every year. I talk about the department's work program, basically what we're working on. Again, it's focused on homes and jobs, planning for equity, environmental and climate, as well as public spaces and mobility. You can just go ahead and click on these things here. Sure. Oh, there it is. Okay. So then it just kind of breaks down all the projects that we're working on, as well as other projects that have been completed.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Oh, and play on the audio too. Yes, I'm here. Okay, let me. Do I need to mute myself? Oh,
So we're working on various projects. I think some of them have come up in this discussion tonight, as well as in previous discussions. The Affordable Home Development Master Plan, I think Stu mentioned that in non-agenda public comment. The idea behind that initiative, I'm not going to go over all, just touch on some of this here. This is looking at city-owned sites like Stu had mentioned, libraries, city operations yards, excess parking lots, to add affordable housing on. So taking a look at city-owned properties and building affordable housing on there. And then Stu had mentioned the libraries, so that's a good idea to kind of look and see what the intent is. For sites with libraries, the idea is to keep a library, and the idea is to improve that library, to expand it, provide more programs in addition to the housing. So this program is not getting rid of any libraries. And it's similar with operations yards. Obviously, say like Rose Canyon operations yards, there's a lot of vehicles and maintenance programs that go out to the various beaches, do cleanups and stuff like that. So we could be looking at the consolidation of operations, parking structures to house vehicles, in addition to opportunity to provide more homes. So this is just a potential, a study that looks at the potential, but the challenges are and benefits of looking at city-owned properties with that. I think I did an update with the general plan related to Senate Bill 99, looking at evacuation routes for a lot of the communities and determining if certain areas have more than one evacuation route. So if they didn't or not, or if they do have those issues, we would look at additional policies to kind of improve those situations. And staff is working with CAL FIRE to address those issues. What else? I think there was another thing. Neighborhood homes for all of us. I think Jeff Heater was here talking about that initiative to look at neighborhood home type developments like duplexes, townhomes, low intensity multifamily units, something like 6 units or 10 units. See how those would fit into single family zoned areas. We also have the updates coming up for Otay Mesa Nestor, as well as Rancho Bernardo. And then I think we've talked about, which has also been on a hot topic issue here, is Senate Bill 79. We had mentioned it was an alternate transit plan that we were gonna come up with to identify or do the planning in the phased areas. We're calling that a transit village plan. So work staff is working on rolling that out later this year as well. So more to come on those. So that's just kind of a snippet on the housing and job side.
Are you precluded to give us any early insight on what this alternative plan might look like? What ideas are you?
Oh, sure. So,
around?
oh, sure. So in back office, we're using GIS tools and we're looking at existing base zoning that would allow, and to kind of see where we basically stand with relative to the requirements of zoning in SB 79.
So this is a very specific question. Have they looking at any CC zones that, since your current maximum CC zone is lower than SB 79?
Yeah, we're looking at the
creating a new higher zone.
Well, we're not quite there yet, like new zones and kind of creating new zones gets a little complicated, so we're gonna try to use the current nomenclature to prevent all that confusion, but it's still getting worked out. Maybe there might be a new package, so,
Because the highest CC 311 zone is about 2/3 of what SB 79 sort of requires.
Yes, and we are looking at multifamily zones first. Then we're looking at potential industrial as well as commercial areas to do those. But we're gonna see how it all lays out. We're looking at all the transit stops that have been identified and qualified under SB 79 based on Sandag's guidance and seeing how they stand in terms of their requirements for.
So the Kensington Township Group has submitted an alternative
I
plan,
forwarded that to
and we are updating it to account for the change in the recent weeks.
Yeah, forwarded that, and then do you guys also have a plan too? I think I mentioned we included that.
We're working in tandem.
Yeah.
Basically, so that, the idea being that we don't create a hodgepodge of zoning that we would be consistent with at time.
So yeah, as these initiatives come forward, some of them are in play, but the new ones definitely, I will be bringing those to your attention, giving you guys a preview to prime up any discussions that we'll have in staff. That's it.
Would you have folks presenting to us what some of these initiatives are going to be that prior to the staff?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we will have something to propose and discuss with staff based on whatever these initiatives are proposing. But we'll definitely come forward and be discussed.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Pull up this our website.
Oh.
You put that on the website?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll forward all that information to the.
Yeah. So just my own, I was gonna bring up that I just got that announcement for using those city-owned sites and was kind of surprised to read it, and thank you, Marlon, for explaining that a little bit further, because I don't think it was that clear that the libraries were, I think the initial thing was, are the libraries gonna still be there or not?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we wanted to make sure is that, yes, there will be a new library. I think Bear Mesa might be the exception because the potential site there is like Excess Park. But all the other ones would be within. And then it would be in conjunction with the library master plan.
They tied that together, but when I went to the library master plan, I was like, okay, how does that tie? I didn't see a clear bridge or connection to explain, to see it on that side.
Okay, yeah, we've been in contact with the library department about, and they seem to be the only asset owning department that's pretty much like, oh yeah, we like this stuff. So we will be talking with them more and maybe getting more details. This is very preliminary, so again, it's up to all the asset owning departments whether or not they want to go forward and do something. But there's been an openness to do that and look at the potential further sense.
So, one question is that, is this a new library master plan since the last one? I can't remember.
Oh, no, it would be the last one.
It's the last one. Okay.
Yeah.
Is, our public-private partnerships being considered?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then
Also looking at social housing.
I have a huge packet. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to bring up the website, me and my staff got together and came up with a new logo, or, just updated a little bit. But I also wanted to note that I'm still building, meeting minutes. I had meeting minutes out there for about 2 years worth, and somebody we needed to go back to 2019. And so I have now downloaded 10 years worth of meeting minutes onto our CPC website. So I'm trying to get as much stuff that is housed in the city on their website to ours, because folks have a hard time finding the city's website's huge, and typing in their
search function.
Their search function is just not good. I struggle with it all the time. So I'm trying to keep anything related to CPC here. And that way, if you need meeting minutes, if you need agendas, if you need, various things, including our bylaws. If you go here, it takes you into the Google files and shows you all the folders and where you can find the different things. So as I build that, what I would like from you guys is suggestions. If you go to look for something and it's not there, and you think this would be great if my CPG could have this at your fingertips. Our site is very fresh, and it's easy enough, hopefully, to go through. At the top bar there, it gives the presentations, it gives current events, various things. Even the part that says, which is kind of off the screen, the CPC and CPG resources up at the top. If you click on that one, that's where I'm trying to plug in the meeting minute. You can find it various links, but meeting minutes, agendas, council policy 600-24, administrative guidelines, our bylaws, CPC's bylaws, stipend administrator, that's for all of you, how to do a stipend, get your stipend. And your invoice form, what you have to fill out in order to, get paid back.
Just say, minutes, agendas instead of resources.
Where, because this page contains resources, which is minutes, agendas, laws, all of the different.
Arlen, 601, that we have to fill out when we have. Is that on that?
No, but I'll add that. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. What do you want me to add as the CPG? If you have your members, you want to tell them to go to it. What could you add?
Council policy 600-9 specific to CPC, so I can do.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, I don't have it on there.
Just 24, which is fine, but the 600-9.
I might have done that wrong, because I thought I put 90 on. 09, isn't it? 09?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I put it on there, but that could be a typo. So anyway, please send me anything you find that you need on there for resources. David?
Yeah, I thought this was important to be publicly shared. It was new to me, the Affordable Homes Action Plan, city-owned properties, 20th and B, city maintenance yards is split between Balboa Park and Golden Hill. Of course, it's addressed in the local plan, and I hope that citywide that those programs consult, acknowledge, incorporate community plans. To stretch, ask coming from many planning groups, but it's fairly high density plan. It's a mixed use program building plan. And there are many reasons that would make a lot of sense that he put stuff there other than current use. But I'm afraid that it would just be blank slate and there will be a lot of effort. The community process with the city staff and public input.
Okay, yes, downtown.
Is this Google Sites you use for this?
Yeah.
This is excellent. Good job.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
And I wear an XL when you make shirts with the logo. So
oh, shut up. That'd be good.
We'll do a fundraiser at some point.
Fundraising. Fundraising. $1,000 a t-shirt.
Maybe I come with an appeal.
That's right, maybe.
Give it a link on the bar store.
Right, store. Oh,
Merch.
merch. Any other member comments for tonight? All right, with that, thank you very much. We are adjourning the meeting. Thank you all for coming.
Oh, and I help putting the tables back in the back closet. We could just stack the chair. Thank you.